Good morning. I hope you're doing well. This is before the last week of summer vacation, and we just have 2 more weeks left together online learning. And during these two weeks, we're going to be revising in the comprehension sessions, and we will be revising the most important comprehension skills that we have learned in grade 6. Just a revision, just to know what we're taking with us to grade 7. Let's start. Learning outcomes. Let's see what we will be revising today. First thing, determine the main idea of a text. Analyze cause and effect found in a text. Infer the author's purpose behind writing a text. And apply correct order of sequence of events or steps in a text. So there are 4 skills to revise today. Let's start. So let's start with main idea. Before we delve into main idea, there's a more general term that we use, which is the topic of texts. It is the general thing that the text is about. It is 1 or 2 words about what the whole text is about. So what is main idea then? It's a little bit more specific than topic. It is the most important point or thought about the topic. So you have the main idea, and then you have supporting details that come even in a more narrow manner. So supporting details are facts, examples, details that support and help to describe the main idea. If we look into this illustration of the 3 concepts, we can start with topic. If you compare the tree to a house, the 3 concepts to a house, the topic would be the base of the house. It is the who or what the text is about. It is what supports and holds everything together. Then, if we move on to main idea, what the text is mostly about, it is somehow the roof of a house, and it holds all the ideas together. So whatever belongs inside the house is linked to the main idea. Whatever is not related to the main idea would not be in the house. So whatever is related to the main idea would be inside. Those are the supporting details. How do we find the main idea in a text? There are certain clues that we use to find the main idea so that we are not lost. So before reading, we have done these before. You read the title. You check what it's about. What do you think the text is about? What is the topic? This is before reading. And then once you're reading, you look for text features. Are there pictures? Or is there glossary, bolded words? Is it a non-fictional or a fictional text? Usually if it's a non-fictional text, it will be about something, providing information about a certain topic. Look for words, information that are repeated. Which word or phrase is being repeated over and over again? Most likely that's the main idea. After reading, think about the most important point about the topic. Let's now practice main idea. So I'll display a short paragraph to you, and after reading it together, you will discuss what is the main idea of this paragraph. There are many kinds of people in the world. Some people are givers. They tend to give freely of themselves to others without expecting anything in return. A second group of people are takers. They often view people as valuable based on how they can benefit or take from the relationship. Many times these people take what they don't even need. What is the paragraph about? What's the topic of the paragraph? Which word is being repeated? So the main idea would be there are different kinds of people in the world, like givers and takers. Second skill to revise is cause and effect. Definition. Cause is the driving force in the text, the what. It is the reason that things happen. Effect refers to what results due to the cause, the why. We use signal words. They help connect the ideas in a text. So they usually help connect the causes to the effects. That is how we identify if a sentence is a cause or an effect. So these are certain signal words that identify a cause in a text. Because, since, as a result of, due to, as a consequence of, now that. And these are a series of signal words that identify an effect in a text. So, therefore, this resulted in, consequently, hence, accordingly. Let's now practice cause and effect. So I'll be reading with you on the following paragraph from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. It's a long one. So she was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the day made her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it, and burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it and was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. In another moment down went Alice after it. So look into these three questions. They target cause and effect in different parts of the paragraph. Think about them, guys. Pause the video here and then come back to check your answers. So first question, Alice wasn't sure she wanted to get up to pick daisies. Why was she feeling this way? What's the cause behind this? Because she was sleepy and she was reluctant to get up to pick daisies. Second question, the white rabbit had a watch and was wearing a coat. What effect did that have on Alice? This surprised Alice and made her get up to her feet. Last question. Alice follows the white rabbit. What was she feeling that made her follow the rabbit? She was burning with curiosity. Third skill that we will be revising is something we've done over and over again from the beginning of the year. It's author's purpose. Definition. It is the author's reason for writing a text, paragraph, or line. When we look at why people write texts, there are three main reasons, and we know them by heart. These are to entertain, persuade, and inform. So examples of text written to entertain could be stories, poems, and dramas. To persuade could be essays and advertisements. And to inform could be encyclopedia entries and textbooks. The author's purpose can be to inform and persuade in some cases, or to entertain and to inform. It doesn't have to be only one. There's usually one dominant, the main one, but it can sometimes be two. Let's now practice author's purpose together. So I will be displaying pieces of writing to you, and then you're going to try to guess what the author's purpose is. So I will just display the questions first, the text. You can pause the video and then come back to the answers. An instructional booklet describing how to operate a smartphone. An article where the author argues that an iPhone is better than an Android phone. A pamphlet urging people not to eat animals or use products made from animals or animal suffering because the author thinks that this is cruel and unnecessary. The book of over 1,000 knock-knock jokes. A cookbook containing recipes for making cakes, cookies, and other desserts. So I'll just display the answers. How many did you get right out of 5? Last skill for the day is sequence. We did this skill together in the beginning of term 3. Let's just finalize the year with the skill again. By definition, it is the order in which things happen. Without it, a story would be very confusing to the reader. It would feel disconnected and the events would not make sense. Story events follow a chronological order such that the story makes sense. We have many transitional phrases or words. They are words that help move the story along and show sequence of events. So the different events that we have in the text are connected usually with transitional phrases or words. And in the different parts of the text, we have different transitional phrases for them. So for example, for the beginning of the text, here are some transitional words that we can use. First, to start, one day, one time, to begin, initially, one night, once upon a time, first of all, it started when, one evening. In the middle part of the text, here are some transitional phrases we might use. After, suddenly, in fact, later on, while this happened, along the way, just then, meanwhile, not long after, next, in addition, during this, until later that day. And in the final part of the text, we might use these transitional phrases. Finally, at last, to sum it up, last but not least, in the end, at the end, as a result, last, eventually, to sum it up, in conclusion. And now let's practice sequence together. Read the following event and place the events in order. I'll display a paragraph to you. It's a bit of a lengthy paragraph, but we'll get through it together. Mr. Matters was a very well-liked neighbor that we had for years. One day he woke up and didn't feel so well. He decided to go to see Dr. Jerome to see what the problem might be. Dr. Jerome did some blood work on Mr. Matters. He found that his blood contains very little vitamin and minerals. He recommended that Mr. Matters begin to eat more fruits and vegetables. In addition, he wanted Mr. Matters to exercise 3 times a week for 30 minutes every time. Mr. Matters wanted to feel better, so he followed the good doctor's advice. Every morning he woke up, he followed the same routine. First he ate a grapefruit and drank a glass of water. He would then walk 2 miles. He would end off with a full body stretch. Then he would ride his bike to work. As months went on, Mr. Matters felt a ton better. He began to help Miss Stewart prune her garden every night after work. As a form of payment, Miss Stewart would always make Mr. Matters a healthy dinner. These are 6 events that happen in the story. Try to put them by order. Pause the video here and work on it yourself, then come back to the answers. So the first event that happens, Mr. Matters did not feel so well one morning. Next, the test results show that his blood lacked vitamins and minerals. The doctor told him that he needs to exercise 3 times per week. Mr. Matters created a healthy routine for himself. Mr. Matters started riding his bike to work. And finally, Mr. Matters also started to help out Miss Prune. So how many did you get out of 6 correct? That's it, guys. We already reviewed and practiced 4 skills out of the grade 6 comprehension skills we've done this year. And now let's be introduced to the lesson. So the title of the lesson is The Cat That Walked by Himself by Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling is the author of a famous book, The Jungle Book. Everybody knows already. This one is a fictional story set in the Stone Age, and it is written in a folktale style. Happy reading!